Is increasingly referred to as green colonialism, where the pursuit of green initiatives reinforce historical patterns of resource exploitation and unequal dynamics. These false solutions often prioritize profit and technological fixes over systematic transformation by displacing communities, exploiting resources, and ignoring indigenous and local knowledge. These solutions anticipate global inequalities rather than fostering inclusive and just transition the world urgently needs. And on this panel today, we have Makoma Lekalaka, who is the director of EarthLife Africa from Johannesburg. She's an environmentalist. We also have Dr. Nimo Basi, the executive director of Health of Mother Earth Foundation, HOMEF, an ecological think tank fighting for the protection of Mother Earth, and Odudu Abasi Asuko, who works with HOMEF. And then we'll start the question right from Odudu. We would like to know what RED is, what no RED is.
RED is a UN program that was implemented in 2008, and it means reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. So it was established in 2008, and then it was upgraded in 2013 to RED Plus because they felt like the Plus would make it something better. But from what we have known from research, we have seen that RED, the project which was meant to protect forests and stop deforestation, is actually increasing deforestation, and it's just a pollution credit for the global north and big corporations, because over the years our indigenous forest dwellers, forest community dwellers have been the one protecting this forest, and they have the knowledge, they have the wisdom to keep protecting the forest. But what this project does is that it dispossesses them, chases them out of their ecosystem, makes the forest inaccessible to people. Over 300 million people depend on the forest. And I'm from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we are 200 million. So imagine a country are being dispossessed of their lands, of their sources of livelihood, just for a project that is a false solution because it's not working. So I think I should allow someone else to, continue from where I started.
Can you please pass the mic to Nimo? Nimo, please can you tell us about the green colonialism and how that has triggered and fed climate crisis?
Thank you very much, Colin, and thanks for that presentation about how carbon offsetting in the guise of beautiful title RED is not really working, but it's contrary to the needs of our people. Now, green colonialism is what would say a developing trend, just working on the same principles as the original historical colonialism. And it means it's driven by the fact that the world has more or less seen that it's time to shift to greener and renewable sources of energy. But this requires certain minerals, which some people call critical minerals or essential minerals. And that in itself connotes a certain sense that these minerals are critical and they must be extracted. So you have a situation where communities are being dispossessed, they're being displaced. You have a situation where communities' consents are not sought in the drive for minerals such as lithium, cobalt, copper, and the rest that are needed to produce batteries, phones, or whatever is needed for the energy transition. So we see a situation where the same mode of exploitation is being established in order to have this shift in energy form, which makes it very difficult and very complicated. Because if you want to, the transition we need must not just be in terms of what comes out at the end, but how that end is achieved. Not disposing community. Look at what's happening in places like Democratic Republic of Congo, millions of community people are displaced because of from areas where lithium is being extracted, cobalt is being extracted, and creating a lot of problems. In Latin America, we're having problems where communities already have water stress, are having their water taken for processing of lithium. So they don't have water for agriculture or for whatever usage. And this is a continuation of the expansion of sacrifice zones, a new cycle of super commodities, colonial extraction, and on using forces of cohesion and violence. So the situation is the same. And this is what we need the renewable energy, but how is the resource for this extracted? That is the problem, and we don't want Greek colonialism.
A perpetuation of false solutions that are being promoted. And however, we don't even see this forum even correcting that, because that what is being promoted is not aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions at all. And nuclear technology, it's one of those. We know that it's not a solution to climate change, and the carbon emissions that comes from the nuclear fuel chain are actually much higher. Even in countries like South Africa that are saying that we need to transition to a low carbon economic development, you still find that nuclear is being promoted. But what is worse is that nuclear is promoted throughout the continent of Africa, and that comes in a form of what is called small modular reactors. Small modular reactors are smaller versions of the bigger reactors, and this is what is being sold to African governments, African countries, and saying this is a solution to climate change. It's not a solution to climate change, from uranium mining up until to the construction of the nuclear plant and feeding in the nuclear reactors continuously, whether small or big. It's not a solution to climate change. The small modular reactors that are being sold to different African countries, they are there, they are good on paper, but practically they have not even been working. There may be one or two pilot ones, but the US now lately through NewScale had said, reversed to say, we're no longer going to be able to sacrifice, our climate, sacrifice our land through this. The false solution is not only nuclear, it's also the green hydrogen, which is now also being promoted through the just energy transition investment plans by particularly rich countries to the southern countries. The nuclear power is an antiqued kind of nuclear, of a way of generating electricity, which is very dangerous. And with hydrogen comes also those concerns that are there with other energy generating technologies that are not of benefit to our people, that stripe our people, our land, that disrupt our people cultures and traditions, that also poisons the soil where our livelihood comes from and destroy the biodiversity that we have in different countries. So these false solutions are the solutions that I think we need to hold these forums accountable for, because they are promoting a destruction of our biodiversity.
Thank you very much for those powerful words. I like the way you analyzed the issues around nuclear energy, as well as all that was said about the red and the red plus, and all of that. But we see that there's a new wave of sneaking in the red project into territories, into countries. Sometimes they brand it as the blue economy concept, where they take swaths of mangrove areas and all of that. So and just to say that before now, we know that our indigenous people have protected these places. They've actually acted as custodians to these places through local and indigenous knowledge. If you like, call it local and indigenous technology. So how do we go back to the roots? How do we ensure that these local and indigenous technologies take preeminence in these discussions and takes over the anti-people science that we are seeing? Thank you.
Thanks so much for the question. I know we're running out of time, so I would just say that one thing that we need to do, one thing that the COP needs to do, the COP has been very good at measuring, ignoring certain things. For example, we spend a lot of time measuring the emissions gap, which is necessary. We measure the finance gap, which is necessary, but we don't measure the gap between what is being done and the impacts on the indigenous communities, the impacts on people at the sites of extraction. That is what we really need to measure. And the solution to that would be, as you mentioned, to learn, because the wisdom is available, the knowledge is available, but the obvious denial of what is available is what is creating the problems.
Thank you, sir. I'll take that to be your final comments for today. Please pass the mic to Oma. Please take the mic in 30 seconds and give us a final comment.
For the sake of people's bottom-up decision-making process, which is evident mostly in indigenous communities, that we collectively decide and collectively imagine what the future should be like. And the future is what also we have learned from our forebearers, what they told us, what this environment was like, how they used to live, and this is an imagination that we want to bring into the future. And bringing that into the future, that would mean that these false solutions should be exposed, as they don't benefit the planet, they also don't benefit the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone has said everything, but what I just want to resound is that Africans, we need to stop accepting solutions that don't favor us. We need to be able to propose our own solutions, be confident in it, and be ready to work on it. We have the solutions, we know what to do, we know what's best for our climate. What we need from the global north is for them to pay the historical climate debt and not to propose solutions that they think will work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Makoma Lekalaka and Nemobasi and Odudu. Thank you.